All right. So Blazing Shoal Intel. Zesty checking in for the 12th month in a row. You know what that means. I knight thee, Defender of the Realm. Go forth and protect us from Twitch chat. We are heading on into a Legacy League here. And this is kind of a sweet Legacy deck. So this is a deck that has a transformational sideboard. So this deck is game 1. We have Blighted Agent and Inkmoth Nexus alongside Blazing Shoal and Cunning Wish for the extra Blazing Shoal. And Blazing Shoal pitching Progenitus or Searing Wind lets us one-shot infect kill them. And then post-board, we pivot into this show and tell plan if it fits the matchup to put Progenitus or Omniscience into play to then enter the infinite and kill them by casting 2 Searing Winds, which is fun. And then Cunning Wish is here because not only is it good with the Omniscience plan, but it's also good because it can fetch either Searing Wind or Blazing Shoal to act as an infect combo piece game 1. And this deck plays all the what I like to refer to as the good legacy cards. We've got Force, we've got Brainstorm, we've got Ponder. So those are the things you're looking to do in this format, generally speaking. The original dad, thanks for checking in with that Twitch Prime support again. Welcome back. Thoughts on the Modern Magic Fest? I mean, are there really thoughts to have, right? Like, it was a Modern tournament. There were eight linear decks, mostly hoping to ignore their opponent in the top 8. I guess maybe you could argue that Grixis Shadow is an interactive deck, but then, like, you consider the fact that it's playing Team or Battle Rage, and it's like, well, this is really a combo deck. You're getting ads should you contact Twitch. Well, it doesn't look like you currently have a subscriber icon next to your name, Geoff, so maybe your Prime dropped off. Double check and see if that's the case. Yeah, I agree, Mazer Mouse. One of the really sweet things is that, like, Searing Wind works as our Omniscience enter the infinite combo kill, but it, like, also just, like, pitches to Blazing Shoal, which is sweet. Can be very expensive. How much does it cost for people to spend on Modern and Legacy decks? So there's a big range. So a deck like this is actually considered a relatively cheap Legacy deck. They don't do paper pricing on Stream Decker, so I don't have a good paper price offhand. What do Force of Wills cost these days? That's the expensive card in this deck, is Force of Will and Show and Tell, I believe. Legacy decks can regularly get up into the $2,000 or $3,000 range, and Modern decks are often in the $800 to $1,500 range. Carded L, thank you for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Scalding Tarns are $80. Well, this deck has Scalding Tarns in it just because I've split the blue fetches in every direction possible to technically play around Pithing Needle and Sorcerer's Spyglass, but this deck can play any blue fetches. You know, every time I play a garbage tier Modern deck, people always assure me that I'm playing the bad version of the garbage tier Modern deck, and then, like, I give it a second chance and play the good version, and it's still just as bad almost every time. That was funny. It was funny when I started getting the comments from people on that YouTube video that, like, oh, Jeff, don't give up on this deck. You played the bad version. It's like, I've heard this song and dance before. Mornings oldie. So this hand has a Ponder, which maybe fixes all ills. It's got like 3 lands in it too, none of which are Inkmoth Nexus. I guess it technically has Progenitus plus Cunning Wish for Blazing Shoal, but I think this is too slow. I'm gonna go ahead and mulligan this. There's like no Force or Daze in it either. This hand's like kind of reasonable, but it's missing a blue source, which means it sucks probably. I'm on the draw, right? Yeah, I'm on the draw. I keep this with a scry. God, can we get the London mulligan in here soon enough so I don't have to, like, keep speculative hands like this with scries? And then just, like, not play Magic. Alright, this hand's actually very good. It's got a threat, it's got 2 counterspells, it's got Cunning Wish, which is technically half of our combo. I'm gonna bottom the second Inkmoth Nexus. Mox Opal, okay. Yeah, that's another good one. The deck's just hard to play, man. You don't get it. It's like, well, it's probably hard to play because it's bad. Yeah, sure, Noah. The major change was that Kitchen Finks was just kind of mediocre, so I cut that card. I don't think I care about that card. Maybe I'm supposed to play Island so I can Daze this turn. It is, yeah. Yeah, your deck will be hard to play if it is bad. I agree with that sentiment. Wasteland here is a little bit annoying. Means that our Inkmoth Nexus plan is not good. Why Bellringer over Exarch? So, Bellringer lets you combo a second time if they Lightning Bolt your Kiki Jiki. So, when let's say you do the combo from one and they Lightning Bolt your Kiki Jiki, your Vanafear will be untapped at that point, and your copied token will have a converted mana cost of 3. So then you Vanafear your Bellringer token, get another Resto, blink the original Bellringer, and then get your second Kiki back out of your deck. Is basically the answer. So I think at this point I want to keep Force of Will up in case they have some kind of payoff next turn. So I'm not going to cast this Preordain because this Preordain cost me 2 and this cost me 1. So what about something like Lantern or Prison decks that are hard to play but actually good? I don't think those decks are ever actually that good. If those decks were actually very good, they'd see a lot of play. Obviously, it's not all the time hard to play means bad, but almost all of the time, in my experience, when people say something is hard to play, it actually just means the deck is bad. Madman, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to bottom the second Brainstorm. I'm going to top the Inkmoth Nexus. I don't really want another Brainstorm here because I don't currently have a shuffle effect to, like, clear the top of my deck after I Brainstorm. Do you still think Amulet isn't what you want to be doing about it? I think Amulet's very good. Like, there's a reason why Edgar keeps winning with it, because he's good at the deck. But I don't think the power level... I don't think anyone should play Amulet for power level reasons, if that makes sense. I don't think the deck is anywhere near good enough to be like, this is the deck that I want to play if I want to just be playing the best deck in the format. Was KCI in the hard to play but good category? I don't know. I don't like classifying decks as hard to play or not, because what people classify as what's hard to play for you isn't hard to play for someone else, is like the thing people also miss a lot of the time. Like, something that you find incredibly hard to play, Matt Nass doesn't, or I don't, or something like that. I don't actually think it's... And again, like, I don't like getting... In my experience, like, talking about decks that are hard to play or not gets masturbatory in a lot of sense. Like, people just, like, want to feel smart. And, like, oh, if the deck I play is hard to play, then I'm very good at Magic if I can win with it. Blah, blah, blah. Like... Yep. Alright. Alrighty. Yeah, the Drake's deck that won LA is probably, that archetype's been putting up a lot of results in the format. Is arguably the best deck. So, I don't really have anything to do with my Cunning Wish here, right? I have, like, an Echoing Truth. I know the top card of my deck right now is another land. I think we're probably locked out of this game. We're probably locked out of this game. I guess I'm not dead for 2. Well, they're gonna kill me in 2. I guess I could technically block with Inkmoth. So what's the line? I think I pass the turn here, and I'm going to Cunning Wish at the end of their turn for Blazing Shoal. I'll take 7 from their attack. I'll draw a land, and then we'll play the land. And then the top card of our deck is a Progenitus or our other Searing Wind. We'll be able to kill them the following turn. So we take 7 here down to 7. And then, assuming they have Stone Cold Nothing, we have 5 draws to kill them next turn. Or 2 turns from now, sorry. So I'll play this island, and then I guess I could technically fire up an Inkmoth here, but that doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna fire up an Inkmoth and block this, and then we'll take 2 down to 5. And then next turn we don't know the top card of our deck. So if we draw Progenitus or Inkmoth Nexus, we'll kill him. I do not currently offer coaching services, no. Yeah. Streaming is just currently consuming enough of my life that I'm putting all of my work energy into this. Alright, so 5 hits to kill them. Survey says rats. I do basically work as a tutor or teacher every day. You're not wrong. Nope. MTGO doesn't have an output log file like Magic Arena does, so the technology that allows Magic Arena to do that just can't be ported to MTGO. Alright, so Pact of Negation's pretty bad here, because my opponent doesn't have instant speed ways to interact with me. And then I think I'm just going to go ahead and trim my worst cantrip, which is this Miser Sleight of Hand in the face of Chalice of the Void. So I'm actually, normally you go on one plan or the other in this deck. Like, you either move it on the Omniscience plan with the Show and Tells, or you don't. But because my opponent's playing this prison-style deck, where just Show and Telling Progenitus into play should be enough to win the game, I'm going to go ahead and split the difference here and leave my Blazing Shoal plan in, but also board in Show and Tell, just so, like, putting Progenitus into play is a line that can come up on occasion. But, like, the Omniscience Enter the Infinite plan is, like, not good against their Lodestone Golems and Thorns. But the Infect plan is, and putting Progenitus into play is. So I want to basically, like, split the difference and, like, have both of my plans that are good against what they're trying to execute as far as their disruption is concerned. Morning, Anner. Yeah, I try to fit in at least 1 Legacy League per week, Anner. I actually didn't fit any in last week, so wanted to start with it this week. I think this hand is fine. It's got Inkmoth Nexus. It's got Preordain. Having a bunch of lands in this matchup is probably pretty reasonable too, since they're like a Thorn deck. And Cunning Wish is technically one of our 2 combo pieces. It gets either Blazing Shoal or the Searing Wind. Yeah, probably Darth. I never say yes or no for sure without seeing a deck list though, so you should submit it using the form on my website, please. All final say and validation. Jeff midstream does not approve or deny anything. Noah the Band Kid, thanks for the 10 months. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. All right, punish for keeping a Brainstorm. This is why I bought him to the second, just in case that was in my future. And this is one of the things that kind of sucks about Legacy, right? Like a lot of there's the Brainstorm mirrors in Legacy actually tend to have a lot of play to them, but there's a lot of like the three pillars of Legacy in my mind are the Brainstorm Force Ponder decks, and then the Chalice of the Void decks, and then the decks that are trying to cheese you out of the game, basically. And we have currently hit one of those. This is actually a really good draw. Oh, I could have impulsed in response to this. I should have done that. I was talking and whatever. Doesn't really matter. The Progenitus draw here means that a show and tell lets me do stuff. Yeah, I saw their post about that. Python seems interesting. It's good that they're looking into ways to monetize. That game's good, so I hope they're able to successfully monetize and be successful. I think they said they're going to give me a preview card for their new set, so I'm probably going to stream a little bit of that at some point. I played an okay amount off stream. Right? I mean, Daze has text here, I guess. The rest of these cards don't. So we'll take that. Yeah, I do not offer coaching services. So we have like the slow grind here. So I get to Cunning Wish for intuition, and then intuition for show and tell. I think we're probably dead here, though. I feel like Ravager plus Walking Ballista probably... Oh, I guess they're at 10. Maybe the fact they're at 10 means this is fine. No, it's just a good cantrip for the price. If you look at this deck is like a hyper combo deck in terms of like the selection that it's playing. Like I've got 4. I have 13 1-mana cantrips in the deck. Like there's a copy of Sleight of Hand just because we like want that much selection. So I can't just get Blazing Shoal because they have Walking Ballista that will kill my thing. So I'm going to go ahead and grab Intuition here. Yes, Eggs. I mean, that's just part of Magic, right? Like that, those matches like that are a big part of why I stopped playing as much Paper Magic, just because, like, it sucks to have your whole tournament end on, like, you know, just bad beats. And that's just, like, Magic happens like that. Like, a significant number of your matches are going to end on bad beats. It's just part of the game. No, I'm pretty easily able to turn off what I'm doing and what I'm not doing. God, people are stupid. Oh, the... Show me the way, brother. Evan M, thanks for the 8-month resub. Welcome back. The thing I was cracking up at there for those that missed it. McCullough, thank you for the 11 months. Welcome back. I just banned someone in chat for blaming Arena for the reason no one's streaming Modern right now. No, stop it. Arena's not the reason people aren't streaming Modern at the moment. Sorry. That's not... Good try, though. Good try. I might actually just be dead here still. Why ban them instantly? Because people with that line of logic don't need to contribute anything, won't be contributing anything meaningful to my chat. Alright, they have an ensnaring bridge as well, so we could just be done here. Anyone that has the level of logic, it's Arena's fault there aren't people streaming Modern, that's just, they're not going to contribute to meaningful discussions here later. Sorry, you want to say something that stupid, you better be paying me at least. Pinky, thanks for the 14 months, I appreciate that. Welcome back, thanks for keeping me around. I have a Magic the Gathering deck here that is protected by my BCW Elite Guard sleeves, because they shuffle real nice. I've been looking at Death and Taxes licks that I've been putting up results with Chalice of the Void in the sideboard. I don't know what COV does. Oh, Chalice of the Void. 50 split with Chalice of the Void without Chalice of the Void. I mean, Death and Taxes is a pile of otherwise unplayable Magic cards for the most part, so like putting a playable Legacy card into that deck's probably a good idea. Chalice. Chalice is one of the pillars of Legacy for a reason. Correct. I agree, MJ. Just like people are just like completely delusional and they're blinded by their love for this thing, right? Like it's okay to love Modern, but to like conclude that it's Arena's fault that people aren't streaming Modern, like, yikes. MTGO has never had a good viewer base. Like, I am one of, like, the 3 or 4 very fortunate people that was able to stream full-time Magic on Magic Online. Like, there's very few people that were able to do that. Like, if you just look at the actual data, which I'm sure that person has never looked at in their lives, like, the number of people who are just streaming Magic on Twitch since the introduction of Arena has just skyrocketed. Like, Arena didn't replace a bunch of Modern streams with Arena streams. Arena didn't replace anything. It added a bunch of new streamers. And if I'm being completely honest, if Arena didn't exist right now, I'd be streaming Standard on Magic Online because this current Standard format is phenomenal. Good lord, Arena is not Magic. Holy crap. Just mono bad takes in chat this morning. I hate that. That elitist bullshit is never welcome here. Sorry, I need to not swear. Sorry, I'm getting, the Magic Online, the people that support Magic Online really get me worked. I never get worked up anymore unless it's talking about Magic Online and Modern and Legacy. It just is, his application brings out the hateful stuff. Hateful people. The Arena's not Magic. Best of One's not Magic. Standard's not Magic. Modern's not Magic. If I can't play with the Black Lotus, it's not real Magic, Scrubs. Get good. Get good, Scrubs. Why aren't you playing with the Black Lotus and a Mox Opal? Back in my day, we played for Ante, and only Ante was real Magic, and there was mana burn. If you're not burning on your mana, you're a scrub, and you're not playing real Magic. Just like, it's okay to not like certain formats of Magic. There's a bunch of formats of Magic that I personally don't like. However, to like sit there and be elitist and rude and be like, this format of Magic that I don't like isn't real Magic, for I am an intellectual and you are a scrub. And only a scrub would play that form of Magic. That's not real Magic the Gathering. Just like, come on. Stop being a dick. Alright, so I'm dead here. Am I dead? Yay. I could like technically daze this, but like I guess I should daze this and I could find both combo pieces next turn technically. I could like draw one. I could draw one for the turn. Yeah, just like what's real Magic? The only real Magic is the format I like playing. All right, so I wasn't gonna draw a combo piece, so not dazing didn't matter. Yeah, I could daze so they can't activate, but it didn't matter. All right, so I can't really board in show and tell in this matchup. So I think I just stay the course and click submit. Against other combo decks, you usually stay on the infect plan because it's a little bit faster as far as a goldfish is concerned. Yeah, I think a big part of it is that, Camboni. I think, honestly, Modern and Legacy elitists are that way too, right? Like, it's difficult to not feel personal about this format where, like, you spend 2,000 or 1,000 or 1,500 on a Modern or Legacy deck, and, like, someone says they don't enjoy playing Modern. It's difficult for a lot of people to not take that personally because they're monetarily so invested in the format that they then get emotionally invested in it too, and they take any slight at the format as a personal attack on them. Because like, oh, you don't like Modern, and I've spent a lot of time and money on Modern, and so if you don't like Modern, you don't like the thing that I've invested a lot of things in, you don't like me. Steam Flogger, thanks for the tier 1, welcome back, thanks for keeping me around. And again, just like there's tons of parts of Magic that I don't enjoy playing. I don't like playing limited. I don't like playing EDH. I don't like playing without sideboards for the most part. But like, I don't walk around saying like those formats aren't real Magic. I say, okay, those formats aren't for me and I'm not going to play them. But like, let other people play the things that they like. Like the thing that makes Magic great is the thing that it's so many different things to so many different people. Morning, Ven Faith. Yeah, it seems pretty good. Okay, this is actually kind of an interesting question. If I lead on Inkmoth and I draw... I'm going to lead on Inkmoth, because if I... so I have to decide how quick do I want to try and go. So if I lead on Inkmoth and I draw Progenitus or or I draw Progenitus or Searing Wind, I kill them on turn 2. However, if I lead on Misty Rainforest, I can ponder Preordain to dig really deep for that other card to potentially set up a turn 3 kill. I think with Daze and Force, I'm fine to try and set up a turn 3 kill, so I'm going to cantrip on one here. The only real Magic is unsleeved alpha on the concrete playground. Yep. Yeah, did you know it was against the rules to play with sleeves on your Magic deck at one point? The only real Magic is unsleeved Magic. You're playing, you got those plastic things on your cards, it's not real Magic. It's like you see that outside of Magic too, right? Like you say, you tell someone like that idea is bad and doesn't make sense, and it's like, well, I'm not calling you a bad person. I'm saying the thing that you've said needs to be addressed. People can't dissect the criticism of what someone has said from criticism of the person saying it, and they take everything very personally because of that. Like, if I talk about your talking point being bad, I'm not talking about you being bad as a person. So, we get Impulse, plus a Draw Step, plus a Preordain. And there's the Progenitus. So, we are going to combo kill them with a land up and Daze plus Force of Will. So, barring a Flusterstorm, we should be good here. So fire up the old Inkmoth Nexus. And I think another part of it too is like there's definitely some unintentional misunderstandings, but I think there's intentional misunderstandings, right? Like it's much easier to get upset. It's much easier to get upset with. That's unfortunate. So it's much easier to get upset and say, hey, you made a personal attack against me, than it is to say, okay, let's dissect why you think my idea is bad, than actually talk about it. It's much easier to just be like, it's just much easier to get pissed off than it is to like actually have a conversation. I'm gonna be aggressive here and pay for one and then force the other one. They have another, if they have a Force of Will of their own or another Flusterstorm, we lose here, but I can beat a Spell Pierce with this Daze. Rowan, thanks for the 8 months. I appreciate the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. They are dead. God bless. What interesting and strategic games of Magic the Gathering. And, you know, and a big part of it too, like the people talking about that's not real Magic, etc. Those are people ultimately that are afraid of change, right? Like change is scary. People don't want to see the thing they love become different because different could be something that they love less. And the arena's not Magic, that's not Magic, etc. Like it's easier to write it off as being not Magic than it is to say, oh, this change is coming that's going to bring more people in, and I don't have to like that change. Shovel some snow. Yikes. Yeah, I heard the East Coast got hammered. So this hand could technically turn 2 with some good draws. I think I'm going to keep this. I don't know. Like, the fact that it doesn't have any disruption in it makes it feel bad, especially on the draw. Oh gosh. If Magic had died every time the Magic community thought Magic was going to die, I would have never had a job. It'd have been gone a decade ago. More than a decade ago. Alright, I think I'm actually gonna look for disruption / setup for a turn 3 kill. In my opinion, the current Modern format is the worst Modern has ever been. As someone who has played a lot of Modern competitively since 2012, the current Modern format is the worst Modern has ever been, in my opinion. And that is a subjective metric, and that's part of why I play less Modern on stream now. We only do 4 to 5 leagues of it a week. And that's why I've been more selective in the decks that I'm willing to play in the Modern portion. I think part of it too, though, is that, like, I think part of it is that Standard's also better than it's been in a very, very long time. So, like, the fact that Modern's a little bit worse on average and Standard's much better than it has been on average means, like, the stark contrast is really there. Yes, I preferred Eldrazi Winter to this current Modern format. But you know what? Again, like, that just goes back to the fact that, like, not every format of Magic has to appeal. Oh, you know what? I messed up here. I should have played the fetch land this turn because I know there's another Blighted Agent on top of my deck and I kind of don't want to draw that. Not every format of Magic has to appeal to every player. No, I top baited 2 opens with Kiki Cord during Eldrazi Winter. Can I elaborate on what makes Modern better? And so again, I would just like, because people like to get salty hurt about anything that comes out of my mouth, I would just like to make clear that what I'm about to say is a subjective opinion. It's not based on facts. It's based on how I feel personally as a person and what I look to get out of games of Magic the Gathering. And personally for me, as someone who never played Splinter Twin, when Splinter Twin was banned, that was when Modern started becoming significantly worse for me as a player that was trying to play Modern in a way that I enjoyed. The types of gameplay patterns that became predominant after Splinter Twin was removed from the format, decks like Dredge and other things of that nature, feel very bad to play against for me personally. All right, so these are actually great. I'm going to go top here, and I'm going to draw the Force of Will. So now I have double Force plus a Cunning Wish on top of my deck, and this Cunning Wish is going to go fetch a copy of... Blazing Shoal to kill my opponent with next turn. So next turn we'll have a kill with double Force up. Do I have a rough idea on what I'll be playing for us today? Yeah, all of the decks I plan to play today are listed in my stream title. We stay very organized around here. If you'd like to see deck lists for the decks I plan to play for the rest of the day, you can go to the deck queue on my website. We got to keep you employed, Misbits. So we time you out because we care. Show and tell. So I think I just forced this because there's a chance they put sneak attack into play and kill me. Yay! I had 2 free counter spells. They had a free counter spell. Everything was wonderful. Alright, that's fine. If they don't actually kill me this turn, I get to kill them next turn. So there's a Cunning Wish on top of my deck that makes this Blighted Agent lethal. Until they put in Gristlebrand and then draw 14 cards and force me. Welcome to Thunderdome. Enjoy your stay. Oh, I guess they can't draw a bunch of cards because then Progenitus kills them, right? Yeah, we might actually be okay here because of our awkward plan. Huh. Combo mirrors are weird sometimes, just like the positions the games end up playing out in. My favorite questions around Progenitus are just like, people are like, does it have protection from X? And it's like, is that a thing? Yes, alright, then it has protection from it. It has protection from all the things. You know what, Tumbledwired? Honestly, I'm really just at a point in my life where I am so much happier not talking about the possibilities of what could or shouldn't happen in Modern, and just like want to sit around and just like play the decks I like playing, and ban the idiots that want to bicker about stuff, and just move on with my life. Just enjoy the parts of Magic that are fun and skip over the parts that are tedious. Life's too short to feel annoyed by the game you're supposed to be playing for fun. Ah, nice, Sky Elf. Well, nice to meet you this weekend. And like, again, at the end of the day, like, so many people are like, oh, how do we change Modern? How do we fix Modern? There's so many people that love Modern. Leave it alone. There are a bunch of people that love casting Faithless Looting and like playing their Dredge deck against other decks and playing their Burn deck and playing their whatever deck. Like, let those people just like Modern. And if you don't like Modern right now, stop playing it. It's okay. It's okay to not like Modern at the moment. Just, you know, don't play it. I am going to link my tweet about the weekend, because that's probably going to be a comment that we get a lot. I'm doing swell. We have an Impulse, and then there's 5 cards in my deck that kill my opponent next turn. So we have the Blazing Shoal here. So if we find a Progenitus or Blazing whatever, we kill them next turn. Dan, a sword without a shield. Let's fix that. Is the NRG event on YouTube? I don't know how quickly they put stuff on YouTube. You could definitely find it. You can definitely find it on their Twitch channel. Fancy Penguin, thanks for the 13 months. Welcome back. Sorry, I was looking for things on Twitter. So, Dark, how long have you played Modern for? I always wonder whenever I hear people say Modern has always been like this, I generally like probe into it a little bit and then find out that like they never played when Splinter Twin was legal. They never played when Birthing Pod was legal. So like trust me, yeah, so trust me when I tell you that Modern has not always been like this, and this is bad for a lot of people. When people say that there was something else, yeah. So like I get, since Splinter Twin's been banned, I agree with you. What you're saying is true since Splinter Twin's been banned. But when Birthing Pod and Splinter Twin were legal, the format was different than it is now. And maybe even with those cards coming back, the format would still be what it is today, but we don't know that. We don't know if the printing of new cards has pushed Modern into what it is today, or if it's because strategies that were keeping things in check became banned. Lao, thank you for the 12 months. I appreciate that. I knight thee, Defender of the Realm. Go forth and protect us from Twitch chat. Yeah, that was one of my favorite times in Modern. When Pod, Jund, Twin, Affinity were the big decks in the format, that was my favorite time to play the format, hands down. So for those, regarding this specific game, we found our combo kill. They had a Force of Will. Their hand apparently isn't doing much else here because we're sitting here beating them down with this Blighted Agent. How did Twin police other decks? So Twin policed other decks by forcing them to be interactive, because Splinter Twin was interactive enough. Splinter Twin was interactive enough to keep the faster combo decks generally from killing it before it comboed them, which forced other combo decks to have ways to interact with creatures, which then made the other combo decks less linear because they were forced to have the ability to interact or lose to Splinter Twin. Jackson, thank you for the Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. And Slewy, thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way again as well. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed. Yeah, I agree with that, Ribble. Twin's ability to mind game in sideboard games is awesome. It's very similar to how Thief of Sanity is in Standard right now. Yes, very similar to how Esper Control with Thief of Sanity works out. Like, are they pulling into Blue Moon? Or, like, are they staying as Splinter Twin? Was a big part of what made the deck powerful. Am I Cunning Wishing for something? I don't think I am. Just because Cunning Wish could be Blazing Shoal or Searing Wind, and I don't know which of those two cards I really want to draw at the moment. Decks like Storm were just bad against Splinter Twin because Lightning Bolt didn't kill Deceiver Exarch. We might get our first fair 10 infect kill this game. Oh, weird. Okay, so they're just like Reanimator with a bunch of green lands. That's strange. Definitely did not put them on Reanimator. Maybe I should have played this land out. Wait, they entombed for Bloodghast, so they're not Reanimator? I'm confused. I thought, like, 4 colors had me put them on something fair. It must be a Phoenix deck, you're right. Survey says, it's probably naming, like, Force or Brainstorm. Those are, like, blue 4-ofs that we haven't played yet. Could name Ponder. No, I had to cast Ponder. Blazing Shoal. I think Blazing Shoal is actually kind of a loose name here, just because, like, I've already cast one. Phoenix and Land Grant. That's adorable. Was anybody here playing Modern when Storm boarding into Splinter Twin was a thing? that was a fun time to be playing Magic. I thought that was always a wild board plan on their part. Like blue red storm sideboarded into Splinter Twin. Yeah, but like here's the thing, J-Boz. If you look around in Modern, like whenever people are like, "Ah, nah, man, Splinter Twin sucks to play against." If you go to any Modern Open or Grand Prix, you're gonna find 300 people that will tell you they hate every deck in Modern. Modern is a absurdly polarizing format. If we just like left decks banned based on things people hated playing against, Tron would have been banned a decade ago, right? Like, Living End Twin, yep. I think I'm going to take this Cunning Wish here. The nice thing about Ponder plus Fetch lands is that I can draw just this Cunning Wish, and then I can crack this Fetch to not draw the other cards on top of my deck. And actually, I want to play out the Polluted Delta this turn, because that way if my opponent has a Spell Pierce, I can force them through Spell Pierce. Well, I mean, they're dead in 2. Madman, as two comments. One, Prime subs support me exactly the same as that base level sub. Second, if it's convenient to use the mobile sub, obviously use the mobile sub. But as a heads up, the mobile sub is just $1 more than subscribing on the regular app. Because Android has to get a cut if you put money through the Android app. So I'm cracking this fetch land because I know there's 2 lands on top of my deck here for my Ponder. I don't even really know what I'm looking for here. Maybe I'm supposed to take that just because, like, I'm kind of just looking for another infect creature, right? I think I'm actually just like looking for another infect creature, so that way if they kill one of these, I still have 2 lethal threats next turn, or 2 cards that can put lethal on board. They have a removal spell here, so I forced the Thing in the Ice just because I didn't want them to like chain through cantrips and send my board back to my hand and set me back. Jay Peliquin, thanks for the Prime support. For shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month. I appreciate it. All right. I don't know what board plan I'm supposed to be on this game. So, they're probably not a counterspell deck. And if they're not a counterspell deck, I probably don't want these Pact of Negations. Because those are mostly there. I guess they could have removal in their deck, huh? I don't know that I want to board into the show and tell plan against Thing in the Ice plus... Against Thing in the Ice plus a bunch of Cabal therapies. Opzid, thank you for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, this is the 4-color Phoenix deck from the Open. Let me take a look at what that deck was playing really quick here since I have a second. Oh, they do have 4s. They have 4 Cabal Therapy, Land Grant, Ponder, Thoughtseize, Accumulated Knowledge is hot. Huh. I think I might just split the difference again here and just like slide some show and tells into my deck over the Pact of Negation just because Pact's really bad against discard disruption. I'm gonna give this a go. I don't think that's true, Rich. One of the appeals of playing a combo deck like this is the fact that, like, it can win games that go longer. This hand's fine. Not amazing, but fine. You also just don't want to mulligan a lot against decks full of discard spells. Yeah, we played a little bit of Sultai Climb. I think it's just worse than playing traditional Sultai. I like that the Climb slots better into a Teamer style deck just because Teamer lends itself to being more aggressive. Wow, their hand is bad. They really need a Brainstorm to get these Phoenixes out of their hand. For folks asking about what I'm playing and when, unlike many Twitch channels, we're very organized around here. Everything you can see coming up is in the stream title. There's also an approximate schedule you can find on my website, jeffhoagland.com, that I keep up to date. Always do my best to help you find the information that you're looking for. They play Careful Study. They're basically a blue-black deck. So, their hand is Careful Study, Arclight, and Tomb. So this is going to get a Bayou. If I Daze this, they actually can't get the Phoenixes back this turn, right? Because they either won't have a second land, or they won't have mana to play 2 more spells. So I'm going to Daze this, because it prevents them from getting Phoenixes back this turn. Because otherwise they'd spend this Trop to cast Careful Study, and they'd use the Bayou to cast Entomb, and they get 3 Phoenixes. I think the Teamer Climb deck is much better than Gates. I think the Gates deck is kind of mediocre with how popular Mono Blue's gotten. So, it's not looking good for the home team if they draw a land next turn. If they draw a Black Source, they get to go Careful Study, double Entomb, attack for 12. So we're hoping to avoid that. Cantrips into stuff can also be bad. I guess Careful Study is a pseudo cantrip. I like my opponent's decision to wait to play the Entomb last turn just so they can save their stuff up. So like if they hit a Black Source here, they're going to attack us for 12. That being said, if I draw a Blazing whatever, I could actually kill them next turn, which would be sweet. Wow, they took Blighted Agent. Interesting. Alright, so we've got 5 draws to kill them. I guess they could have found a Force of Will. Kaz, thank you for the very generous tier 2 resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Alright, so they have 2 Entombs in hand. Dig. Yikes. So, I'm going to put this back. You get 4 more shots at our combo piece here. Force of Will, Cunning Wish. Cunning Wish technically kills them next turn, right? So, we'll keep these. We'll draw the Force, so we have Force this turn. And then next turn, we'll Cunning Wish for Blazing Shoal, and then Blazing Shoal them. With the Progenitus. Prince Day, thanks for the Prime support. And Nyan Dreaming, thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way, folks. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch. Thanks for keeping me employed with that. Do I want to Daze this? I don't think so. Oh, this gets Cabal Therapy. Maybe I do want to Daze that. Yeah, I'm probably supposed to Daze that. Please cast Arclight Phoenix for 4 mana so I can Daze it. Wow, that's brutal. I punted here. So if I would have dazed the Cabal therapy, I would have. I guess they're bouncing my Blighted Agent anyways. Yeah, I think I'm just dead here no matter how I slice it. No, that's not true because they're gonna have to sacrifice the thing in the ice. They get to Entomb here. They played a land this turn, right? So they messed up by not, they should have Entombed for Bloodghast, I think. They should have Entombed for Bloodghast. Yeah, they named the right thing here. So if I would have dazed their Entomb at end of turn, I'd have killed them next turn. Now I'm getting attacked for 9. Which means I have to, draw a thing. Hey, Sharps. Thanks for the 9-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So, if I draw a... I'm gonna wish for a Blazing Shoal, and then if I draw a Progenitus or Searing Wind or another Cunning Wish, we do win the game still. And if not, we play game 3. No, I don't need to clear the top of the deck. This is one of my 2 combo pieces. I want to draw Cunning Wish. So my out here is to combo kill them. I'd recommend buying Guilds of Ravnica packs, followed by Allegiance packs, depending on how many packs you're buying. Sets with Shocklands in them have the best return on investment, I think. Oh, Progenitus was shuffled into my deck, wasn't it? And there was still just a Cunning Wish on top? Just Moto things. Don't mind me. Just combo. Combo. Are we done here? What's the deal? Have you heard about the bird? How's everyone doing this morning? Happy Monday. We got 1,400 people in here for Legacy. Y'all are great. Thanks for hanging out. We're 2-1. So we got two more matches of Legacy this morning, then we'll be rolling right along to some Standard. Yeah, this deck's interesting. So we haven't played any matches where the Show and Tell Omniscience plan is good yet. Usually you board into this plan against the more fair decks in the format. Yeah, this is, for those wondering, if you've ever looked at the modern ban list and wondered why Blazing Shoal is banned, this decks like this are why. Lizardio, thank you for the 11 months in a row. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Nah, I don't really have time to play. Pretty much all the Magic I play these days is on stream, except for like the occasional paper event. Like I played this past weekend. Oh. Whee! We are starting with some fishies today, Nivik. We are in fact. Sounds like politics everywhere, Time Lord. Is it better to draft or buy straight packs? If you enjoy drafting, you should draft. If you don't enjoy drafting, you should buy packs. I don't even know that it's so much as has to do with a playgroup Team Darkwater, but just so much of like, for Paper Magic events, it's kind of a been there, done that type of thing. Like, I played 25 to 30 event weekends, you know, every year for like 3 or 4 years running. So like Magic events have kind of just like don't have that same wonder for me anymore, which is actually why the Nerd Rage events are kind of nice, because like taking an entire weekend to go to an opener or Grand Prix, like that's a lot of time for me these days as someone with a yob and kids and all that. So like just having a one-day tournament's really convenient. Can we get a Tempo Storm flex shot for the camera? Like that, something like that. I don't really have muscles to flex with. We've definitely fallen out of the gym schedule since I've been working so much. 6-1-1 ASIM. So the way Paper Magic tournaments work. And honestly, the way prizing in Paper Magic tournaments works is kind of a buzzkill as well. So like the way an 8-round tournament like that works is that people at 6-1-1 get to play the top 8 of the tournament, but people at 6-2, like I didn't even top 16 the tournament. So the difference between a loss and a draw is like $50 versus being able to win the tournament, which is kind of like feels bad, man. And that's obviously nothing on Nerd Rage, right? That's just like how Magic tournaments work. It's kinda how they've always worked. So this hand has some disruption in it, has a cantrip. We're looking for more cantrips or threats. Inkmoth Nexus, Blighted Agents, etc. Age Bolter, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. And that's one of the tough parts about like the way Paper Magic tournaments work. And again, that's true of like Grand Prix and SCG Opens and everywhere, is like the way Magic tournaments are structured, they just don't reward consistency. So like winning 75% of your matches is considered a good record in Magic, but if you show up and win 75% of every one of your matches at every Magic tournament, you're never going to top 8 basically, which just like is a super feel bad. Yeah, basically, MJ. That's why, like, when people try to construct the metagame from just looking at the top deck list in a given tournament, it's like, well, the difference between, like, being able to win this tournament and, like, barely min-cashing is, like, one game of Magic. So it's like, the difference between the lists you're seeing and the lists you never see is, like, very marginal. Yeah, looks like we're playing against Miracles, which this is a match where our show and tell sideboard plan is going to come into effect here. I believe these lists with the AK usually play Monastery Mentor. It's been a hot second since I've played a ton of Legacy, so maybe that's not the case anymore. Nah, at the end of the day, metagaming like that doesn't really exist, Chalky. Magic just, like, doesn't pay enough prize money for people to, like, not play decks that they enjoy. So people, for the most part, just play decks that they like. How good do you think Legacy Burn is right now? What's something worse than dog poop? That. Whatever's worse than dog poop. If you want to play Burn, I'd highly recommend Modern. It always really bothers me. Like, I can't tell you how often I turn on Twitch with the intention of watching Magic and like scroll through a bunch of streams and just no one has their format and their stream title, and I just like sigh and turn on Netflix instead because I don't want to have to like click into a bunch of different streams to figure out what format they're playing. That card's really annoying. These Dazes aren't very good, so let's just pitch it. MPL players play Standard. Not really. There's a lot of them that do a bunch of limited Garden Variety Troll, and with the Mythic Invitational coming up, a lot of them are just playing Best of One. Which feels bad, man. Are there any good decks you'd recommend for Budget and Legacy? I'd actually recommend this one. So this deck you can play any blue fetch lands in, and Force of Will is the only very expensive. I guess Show and Tell might cost money. But as far as Legacy decks go, this is cheap for a Legacy deck because there aren't any dual lands in it. Show and Tell costs $13. That's awesome. So yeah, and like buying Force of Will, this is a great budget deck to get into Legacy with, because if you want to eventually build into other Legacy deck, Force of Will goes into infinite other Legacy decks, right? So like your cards are going to be relevant to a lot of places. We're probably dead at this point, and I might just concede so they don't know what we're playing. I think I'm just gonna concede so they don't know what we're doing. Yeah, but use a schedule doesn't line up with what I'm saying. I get it, chat. There's people that play Standard best of 3, and that's not what I said. What I said was I often sign on and people don't have the format they're playing in their title. So I get it. I get it that people exist, but those people like me don't stream constantly. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and concede here. Pact of Spell. Well, I think I'm leaving Pact of Negation in my deck, so I'd rather they don't know Pact of Negation exists. Is up.me is your friend at Dosium. Alright, so Show and Tell, enter Omniscience. We board out Searing Wind and Blazing Shoal. What else? What else usually gets cut? The Blighted Agents come out. Daze and a bad cantrip, probably, like Sleight of Hand. Manaless Dredge is nothing more than a meme. I don't know that LED Dredge is that good, though. Is it common, especially in events, to concede early so the opponent doesn't know what you're playing? It depends on a lot of factors, Nubinated. Like a lot of things in Magic, it's a very nuanced topic. That like sometimes you do this, other times you're deep in an event so your opponent might know what you're playing anyways. What round is it? What are you actually concealing? Is what you're concealing meaningful to the post-board games? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure you can win plenty of games with Manaless Dredge, but there's a reason why you look at, like, Legacy Classic top 8s and you look at the challenge every week on MTGO, and you look at the open, and you don't see a bunch of Manaless Dredge in those results. And based on the price of Manaless Dredge, it's not that people aren't playing it. But I think it's the best version of Tron in Modern right now. You can find my preferred iteration of Green Tron on my website, jeffhoagland.com. Click Modern Decks, click Proven. So we're looking for show and tell plus a thing to put into play here. I'm going to bottom Inkmoth. I'm going to keep the Ponder because it's a great cantrip. I think I'm just going to Impulse this turn. It's a deep state conspiracy against Dredge. Project Swamp, thanks for the Prime support. Hope you're having a good one. Happy Monday. I mean, Legacy's, honestly, it's similar to Modern, maybe even more so, in the fact that, like, there's a bunch of decks that power level-wise are really bad, but people show up and play them anyways because they really like playing them, right? Like, Magic is a game that's about more than just winning. Magic is this game that people play for fun, which is weird, I know, but it is something that people do on occasion. So I'm going to put these enters back. Now I'm going to put an enter and a Progenitus back. And then I think during my upkeep next turn, I'm going to impulse past them. And, like, price factors into a lot of that too, right? Like, we talk about, you know, if the Legacy deck you like playing suddenly is kind of bad, but, you know, it costs $3,000 to change decks, guess what? You're probably not changing decks. Titan Shift literally just top 8 at the Grand Prix. Johnny Boy, thanks for the 16 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. You know what, Monster Man, play whatever cheesy hate cards you want. It's Modern. Knock your socks off. Whatever hate cards get your jimmies rustled, or you think will rustle the most opposing jimmies. You do you, and don't let me tell you otherwise. Don't metagame Modern. Just play decks that are objectively good, and you're gonna have a good time. Alright, so at this point, I'm looking for Force, Daze, and then Omniscience. Huh, that's a slew of cantrips. I'm gonna shuffle, because I'd rather just, like, there's so many, yeah, it's a bad draw. There's so many cantrips in my deck, like, I'm pretty likely to hit a cantrip or something else meaningful. Yeah, I agree, Adosium. While there are a lot of decks that can Goldfish a turn 3 kill, those decks Goldfish their turn 3 kill less often than Titan Shift kills on turn 4. Completely agree with that sentiment. You know, it's funny. I might actually, to potentially bait a counterspell, because I have Progenitus in my hand, I can actually set myself up here to try a Blazing Shoal kill with this Inkmoth. So I think I'm going to Inkmoth and pass. And then end step, I'm going to Cunning Wish for Blazing Shoal and try and Shoal kill them next turn. Nexus, thanks for the 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I could get Intuition, get Omniscience, but like the odds of my opponent not having another counterspell here are incredibly low. So by getting Blazing Shoal, I'm encouraging my opponent to have something to counterspell, so that way maybe my show and tell can eventually resolve. Is the idea here. That's a lot of Enter the Infinite. I guess this sequencing means I lose to Flusterstorm, which is probably loose. You can find the deck list on your screen, or a deck link via the ! deck command. Alright, sweet. And that got a Forcible out of them. So, like, we didn't kill them this turn, but, like, we got a counterspell out of them with our Cunning Wish, with what we're looking to do. And then there are 2 bricks on top of my deck with 2 more Enter the Infinite, so I'm going to make sure I leave that stop on my upkeep so I can crack my fetch land to shuffle those away. They have another Jace, yep. So I'm hoping to draw Omniscience or cantrips into Omniscience next turn so I can combo kill them. We're in match 4 here. I might be done after 4 matches. Just because it's been about an hour and a half. The articles link redirects to Cool Stuff Inc., and Cool Stuff Inc. appears to be having problems this morning. At least their search function. So, thanks for the heads up, Haplar, but that's not an issue on my end. Wonder if they changed their search function on their website. Yeah, Cool Stuff Inc. appears to be down. Because that's where my articles are hosted. Wow, they don't have a 1 on top. That feels good. I'm going to bottom this, top the Ponder. Again, just looking for an Omniscience to put into play off the show and tell. Okie dokie. This is the way we scoop to counterspells, scoop to counterspells, scoop to counterspells. This is the way we scoop to counterspells early in the morning. I could technically play around Spell Pierce if I wait a turn, but by waiting a turn, I expose myself to hard cast Force of Will because they're going to untap with 5 lands. I also wait and let them activate another Jace the Mind Sculptor, so like they get 4 more looks that way. So I think it's correct to jam into a possible Spell Pierce or Flusterstorm there, because they're going to see way more cards the following turn and have mana up to play way more different counterspells. So we'll take 1 or 2 more draw steps here, trying to find another show and tell, but we're likely dead here. Right on time, Pact of Negation. I'm going to hold on to this land just in case we draw Brainstorm. I'll take 1 more draw step here. What's there really to talk about? Like, it played all the good legacy cards, right? Had Brainstorm Ponder Force in it. Sounds great. Sounds like an awesome legacy deck. Lord of the Pearl Trident, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Whoop. Jace, for those of the standard players that are hanging out, Jace the Mind Sculptor puts you into garbage time at a pretty similar rate to Teferi putting you into garbage time. It's only 20 after 9. I'm going to play the last match here. Hopefully we can get a quick W. For those of you not familiar with Magic Online, especially the competitive leagues, are basically online gambling. We get, if we win this next match, I get like $13. If we lose this match, I get nothing. The resub notifications have been super messed up since they changed their system, Lord. So you've got the right icon next to your name. So thanks for the continued support. Sorry the Twitch stuff is foobar. It matters quite a bit, Chalky, especially cards like Daze, because Daze kind of demands that you have a cheap, fast way to win because you're putting yourself behind on land drops. Thanks for the Prime support, Jay Gross. Terramander, Scary Terry, you're not supposed to be harassing me in this format. Sure, this card's great in Legacy. It's a cheap threat that wants you to play a bunch of cantrips. This is a format where you want cheap threats and you also want to play a bunch of cantrips. Sounds like everything you want to be doing in Legacy. Does this card encourage you to check the boxes you want to check in Legacy? It does. It's probably great. Light up the stage. Light them up. They're on fire. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Do, 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 do. I wonder if the light up the stage means they're playing less counter magic. Feels to me that way. They might be playing less counter magic. Alright, that's a Progenitus, which is like technically part of our combo. Unfortunately, we are currently missing a threat. I'm gonna throw the land back in the Daze. The Cunning Wish is pretty expensive. I think I'm probably putting the land back just so I have so many cantrips. The Daze is probably meaningful as protection goes. I'm gonna throw the Impulse back because it's kind of an expensive cantrip. This Force of Will is hideous. These borders are terrible. Alright, there's a threat. So, next turn, I Cunning Wish for Blazing Shoal. And then the following turn, I have Daze plus Force to try and force my lethal threat through. Assuming they don't leave a blocker back, of course. They could leave a flying blocker back. FNC Sunshine. Krasis is very good. Thank you for the 3 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Campa, thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. Welcome, welcome. I can request specific versions, but usually I don't have enough time in the day to do things like that. It's like, just take whatever gets auto-imported in when I put the card list in. Wow, they just left the Ponder in exile? That's interesting. They must have a bunch of counter spells they want to hold up here, huh? Hey, they have Spell Pierce or something like that? Okay. Or do they have another blocker, or they're just assuming I can't kill them next turn? Light them up. Do 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 do. So in response to this Pyromancer, I'm gonna Cunning Wish. So that way if they have a Daze... Oh, I think I'm gonna fight over this, because there's a chance they die next turn. And I can Daze a Spell Pierce here. So hopefully we can punish them for attacking with Terramander here. They don't have Flusterstorm, they need 2 more counters. Alright, I'm done. I'm done. Alright, on to the next one. And by that I mean on to Standard. Alrighty. Welcome, you know, that's why playing Magic Arena is more fun, because when you misclick, you don't gamble away $13. Thankfully, I mostly gamble with other people's money, but that's just how it goes. Thanks for the 3 months, Fantasy End. I appreciate that. Welcome back. $13 misclicked. Yeah, I totally clicked it. I was talking and doing things at the same time. The card images are small. I was talking about different lines while we were going, and that's just how things work. This is a legacy deck. It plays all the good legacy cards. It has powerful linear draws. I probably would have won that game there. They needed 2 more counter spells for me to not win there, or another free counter spell, which maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but I think we're probably a favorite to win at least that game. I don't know how the match goes, but nifty. Thanks